Welcome to Ghost Vibes. For nearly 5 centuries, the jungles of the Amazon and the high peaks of the Andes have guarded one of the most magnificent and elusive secrets in human history: the final, unplundered city of the Inca Empire. This is not just a myth of gold. This is the story of a vast civilization, a lost imperial retreat, and the desperate, often fatal search for Paititi, the legendary capital of the Inca resistance, often confused with the eternal legend of El Dorado. Our journey begins in the 16th century with the brutal arrival of the Spanish conquistadors. Francisco Pizarro's capture and execution of the Inca emperor, Atahualpa, in 1533 marked the catastrophic end of the political heart of the Inca Empire, Tawantinsuyu. However, the empire's wealth, its vast reserves of gold, silver, and priceless religious artifacts, was largely not captured. As the Spanish invasion advanced, the Inca elite executed a masterful cultural retreat. They systematically dismantled their religious centers, burying or hiding millions of dollars worth of gold ornaments, statues, and ceremonial items, ensuring that the sacred wealth would never fall into the hands of the European invaders. This immense hidden treasure became the genesis of the legend of El Dorado, the Gilded One. Originally not a city, but a ceremony where a newly appointed chieftain would cover himself in gold dust and dive into a sacred lake. But as the desperate Spanish searched, the legend morphed into the ultimate goal: a city of gold. The true focus of the mystery, however, is Paititi. Paititi was not a city of myth, but a specific, heavily fortified retreat established by the last sovereign Incan emperor, Manco Inca, and later maintained by his successors. After the fall of Cusco, Manco Inca retreated deep into the rainforests bordering the Amazon basin, establishing the Neo-Inca state. The initial retreat was to Vilcabamba, which served as the capital of the resistance for several decades. But historical accounts suggest that when the Spanish eventually located and destroyed Vilcabamba in 1572, the final, most elite segment of the Inca royal family and military, along with their most sacred treasures, had already performed a second, deeper retreat into the impenetrable jungle. This final secret sanctuary was Paititi. The Inca chronicles, preserved by later Spanish writers, suggested Paititi was the ultimate place of refuge, a city built not in the high mountains, but in the lowlands, beyond the reach of the Spanish cavalry and their European diseases. It was said to be a place where the Inca tradition survived, completely uncontacted for centuries. The legends describe Paititi as being constructed of gold and shining stone, an understandable exaggeration that masks a crucial historical truth. Paititi was real, and it held the last physical and cultural remnants of a magnificent empire. The most compelling historical evidence came from Spanish documents dating back to 1560, specifically the writings of the chronicler Juan Alvarez Maldonado. He described Paititi as a powerful autonomous state east of the Andes, capable of resisting both Spanish incursion and local indigenous tribes. The mystery is amplified by the fact that the Inca themselves used complex, misleading geographical markers to deter any European pursuit. The location was shrouded in intentional misdirection, ensuring that the last great secret of the Andes would be swallowed by the Amazonian jungle. The final fatal irony is that Pizarro's greed created a search that continues to this day, consuming the lives of countless explorers who seek to uncover the lost empire. The centuries following the Spanish conquest saw the gradual transformation of Paititi from a known historical refuge into a tantalizingly unreachable legend. The first serious organized searches began not for gold, but for the glory of discovery. However, the Amazon rainforest proved to be a defense far greater than any Incan army. The dense canopy, the swift, unmapped rivers, the diseases, and the hostile, uncontacted indigenous tribes consumed expedition after expedition. One of the most tragic and famous quests for Paititi was led by the legendary explorer, Colonel Percy Fawcett, in the early 20th century. While Fawcett was primarily looking for the lost city of Z, another name for the same ultimate sanctuary, his methodology and fate defined the danger of the search. Fawcett believed the Incas had built a highly advanced ancient city in the Mato Grosso region of Brazil, basing his theories on historical accounts and strange ceramic shards found deep in the jungle. In 1925, Fawcett, his son Jack, and Raleigh Rimmel entered the jungle. They were last seen crossing the upper Xingu River. They disappeared completely, leaving behind no bodies, no equipment, and no conclusive sign of violence. Their fate became an enduring symbol of the jungle's power to swallow the ambitions of the outside world, a grim warning to all who followed. Following the trail of historical records, modern archaeologists and explorers narrowed the search. The focus shifted from the Brazilian lowlands to the remote cloud forests of southeastern Peru, specifically the area surrounding the Manu National Park and the headwaters of the Madre de Dios River. This region, known as the Pantiacala Escarpment, features unusual geometrically shaped formations in the jungle, the infamous pyramids of Pantiacala. While these structures are now scientifically believed to be naturally eroded sandstone formations, their existence fueled decades of search, suggesting an undeniable pattern of human construction. In the late 20th century, the search for Paititi took a dark professional turn, moving away from amateur explorers towards highly funded archaeological and military-style expeditions. The key figure in this period was Jean Savoy, an American adventurer and prolific finder of lost ruins. Savoy didn't claim to find Paititi, but his explorations in the 1960s and 70s proved that the rainforest held immense, hidden cities of the Inca and pre-Inca cultures, legitimizing the Paititi quest. However, the darkness of the quest was perfectly encapsulated by the disappearance of British explorer Thomas Charles Mielsen. Mielsen was obsessed with the Paititi theory. In the mid-1990s, he embarked on a solitary, small-scale expedition into a highly restricted area of the Manu jungle. He was an experienced survivor, yet he vanished without a trace. His last known radio contact reported crossing a difficult ridge and seeing unusual structures. The search team found Mielsen's backpack, his diary, and a few high-quality photographs showing stone walls and dense undergrowth. The last entry in his diary was chillingly simple, referencing a path that only they knew. His disappearance, like Fawcett's, led many to believe that Paititi was not simply a ruin, but a protected zone, perhaps guarded by uncontacted tribes who remained fiercely independent and lethal to outsiders. The jungle was no longer just an obstacle, it was an executioner, defending the last secret of the Inca Empire. The gold remained lost, protected by time, terrain, and the ghosts of those who sought it. While the dense jungle consumed physical explorers, historians and linguists embarked on a different kind of search, piecing together the cultural and linguistic evidence that points to Paititi's reality. The historical record, once dismissed as mere mythology by the Spanish, began to reveal a sophisticated, deliberate plan to relocate the heart of the empire. The key to understanding Paititi lies in the distinction between the historical resistance capital, Vilcabamba, and the final refuge. The Inca state was organized through a vast network of roads and supply lines, using the Capac Ñan system. However, the final retreat to Paititi utilized older, lesser-known and more secret routes known only to the highest echelons of the Inca military and priesthood. These routes were said to follow the flow of gold from the eastern slopes of the Andes, down into the Amazonian tributaries, a path the Spanish were never able to penetrate. Crucially, modern archaeological finds have confirmed the existence of major Inca settlements far deeper into the jungle than previously imagined. The discovery of Espiritu Pampa, the site confirmed to be Vilcabamba in the 1960s, provided physical proof that the Neo-Inca state existed and thrived in the rainforest. However, the relics found at Espiritu Pampa were generally utilitarian. The truly sacred golden objects were still missing. This reinforced the belief that Paititi was the ultimate, final destination for the most sacred objects and the last lineage of emperors. The most chilling and persuasive cultural evidence comes from the accounts of uncontacted indigenous tribes living in the supposed Paititi region. Beginning in the 17th century and continuing into modern times, Jesuit and Franciscan missionaries recorded strange, consistent stories from local tribes about a powerful city of refuge, or a white city, ruled by sons of the sun from the west. These stories, collected from the Machigenga, Yin, and Mashco-Piro tribes, all spoke of an isolated, powerful people who retained the complex customs and language of the classic Inca period, but who vehemently rejected any outside contact. One of the most compelling modern accounts comes from a German missionary, Father Anselm Brisges, in the 1950s. While working in the Madre de Dios region, Brisgis documented a local tribe's tale of a powerful walled city located deep within the jungle, where gold flowed freely and people wore traditional Inca clothing. He even sketched maps based on their descriptions, showing a city built around a massive central plaza, fed by an elaborate irrigation system, a characteristic of Inca urban planning. These indigenous accounts consistently suggest that the inhabitants of Paititi did not simply abandon their city. They chose isolation and maintained a cultural shield against the modern world. This cultural persistence suggests that Paititi is not a crumbling ruin, but a living mystery, a city whose existence is known and respected by the local tribes, who act as its voluntary, silent guardians. The idea that a thriving, uncontacted civilization, descendant from the Inca royal family, might still exist in the 21st century raises profound ethical and political questions about how such a discovery would be handled, and whether it should be sought at all. The gold, therefore, is not just treasure. It is the physical proof of an unvanquished spirit, protected by the silence of the jungle and the loyalty of its most ancient inhabitants. The modern era has brought a new set of tools to the quest for Paititi, transforming the search from a perilous trek into a forensic analysis of aerial data. More recently, the use of LiDAR technology, which fires millions of laser pulses from an aircraft to map the ground beneath the jungle canopy, effectively peeling back the vegetation, has revolutionized Mesoamerican archaeology, leading to the discovery of vast Mayan networks. Although its application in the Paititi search area is limited due to the incredibly dense atmosphere, preliminary flyovers have detected unusual rectilinear patterns and man-made terracing deep in the Manu National Park buffer zones, strongly suggesting uncatalogued human habitation. These aren't necessarily the walls of Paititi, but they confirm that the area contains far more than just natural wilderness. The most fascinating theory connecting Paititi to the known Inca world involves Machu Picchu. The official story maintains that Machu Picchu was discovered by Hiram Bingham in 1911 and was a royal estate for the Emperor Pachacuti. However, a less-known theory suggests that Machu Picchu served not just as an estate, but as a gateway city or a key staging post for the ultimate retreat eastward. The architectural alignment of many Inca sites is deeply astronomical and geographical. Some researchers propose that the sacred geography, or Seke system of the Inca, was a deliberate roadmap. They argue that the ceremonial function of Machu Picchu was to protect the mountain pass and river corridor that led to the eastern jungles. Furthermore, the immense size of the masonry and construction at sites like Ollantaytambo suggests not just a ceremonial center, but a powerful military and logistical hub dedicated to controlling the eastern access points. This theory posits that the route taken by the fleeing Inca elite was not random, but a pre-planned sacred pilgrimage route leading directly to their final destination. The immense smooth stones found at the base of the sacred mountain Ausangat and along the eastern waterways are seen not as ruins of Paititi itself, but as navigational markers, Inca breadcrumbs left to guide the final contingent to safety. The political reality is that even if Paititi were found today using LiDAR, its status would be highly contested. Much of the most promising territory lies within Manu National Park, a protected biosphere and indigenous reservations. International law and ethical considerations demand that any discovery of uncontacted tribes or sacred sites be handled with extreme caution, prioritizing the preservation of life and culture over archaeological excavation or the recovery of gold. This ethical dilemma adds a final layer of complexity to the mystery. The most sought-after city on Earth may be found, but it may also be legally and morally off-limits forever. The mystery of Paititi is not merely a tale of a missing city. It is a profound narrative about wealth, power, and the ethical cost of exploration. The enduring allure of the lost Incan gold, the estimated multi-billion-dollar fortune in artifacts, is balanced by the jungle's persistent, almost supernatural defense. This has led many to believe in the curse of Paititi. The curse is often attributed to the Inca priests who, before their final retreat, were said to have placed a spiritual guardian over the last refuge and its treasure. Historically, the jungle itself served as the curse, claiming the lives of countless treasure seekers like Percy Fawcett and Thomas Mielsen. Their deaths were not from violence, but from fever, venom, disorientation, and the crushing psychological weight of the Amazonian vastness. The curse is the embodiment of the unforgiving environment, meticulously designed by nature to protect the last bastions of the empire. As for the gold itself, there are three prevailing theories regarding its fate. 1. The gold is still in Paititi. This is the romantic and most popular theory. The gold, silver, and religious artifacts remain hidden within the final sanctuary. If Paititi exists as a living, uncontacted city, the treasure serves as its continued cultural and economic foundation. The gold is not lost, it is simply protected. The gold was thrown into lakes and rivers. Historical accounts from the final years of the Neo-Inca state suggest that before abandoning key strongholds, the Inca elite often dumped massive amounts of gold and silver into sacred lakes and rivers to prevent the Spanish from profaning them. The nearby Lake Titicaca is legendarily one such site, but the practice may have been repeated on a massive scale in the Amazonian tributaries during the final retreat, rendering the gold permanently unrecoverable, dissolved into the deep river silt. 3. The gold was distributed. A less glamorous but more plausible theory suggests that the massive, centralized wealth was gradually decentralized. As the empire shrunk, the Inca priests might have distributed the gold and artifacts among various loyal, smaller tribes, or hidden them in dozens of smaller caches along the retreat routes, ensuring that no single discovery could provide the Spanish with the entire prize. This would mean that Paititi's treasure is not one major hoard, but hundreds of small scattered secrets. In 2009, archaeological teams made a definitive breakthrough, finding what many believe to be the final staging post before Paititi. At the site of the last outpost near Cusco, archaeologists found Inca artifacts and evidence of a massive final relocation operation dating to the 1570s, which pointed inexorably eastward. This discovery confirmed that the final retreat into the jungle was a real, organized event, giving Paititi a strong basis in historical fact, not just legend. Ultimately, the quest for Paititi is no longer solely about gold. It is about understanding the resilience of a sophisticated culture that chose deliberate isolation over annihilation. The lost city represents an unwritten chapter of human history, a civilization that, against all odds, chose to disappear into the heart of the Earth's greatest wilderness, thereby achieving a final, profound victory over its conquerors. Whether Paititi is a gold-laden ruin, a protected tribal sanctuary, or merely the symbolic destination of a final journey, it remains the ultimate secret of the Andes, a monument to the spirit of an empire that refused to die. The jungle still whispers its secrets. All we can do is listen.